Hello and welcome to another episode of The Call Box. It's where you go for police info. Welcome back, co-host PIO Sergeant Rob Shearer.
Back again.
You know what else is back?
What's that?
The table is back. Yes. I had no
Big
control
fan
over
of the
this.
table. I like the table.
Do you?
Yeah. Sometimes we get the ferns are a little old,
Yeah.
but yeah, I like the table. It's a good setting.
And we're trying different sets. That's why we're in different places every week. Different topics every week, trying to change it up, trying to make it, interesting until we actually get our permanent set over at 100 West Elwood.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
It's not Elwood. It's 100 West Washington.
That'll be nice.
Yeah. Check out previous episodes and you'll see a little bit about a preview into that building. So the Call Box, it's the show. We've rebranded the Call Box. I learned something interesting from my dad.
What's that?
And he's been on the show a couple of times.
Yes.
So he has some history. Serial number 2332, retired Commander Bill Campbell. I just had lunch with him. He's doing well.
Very good.
For those of you who follow.
2330.
You know what he said about Call Box when I told him about the rebrand? So the old station, the old City Hall station on 21 Jefferson.
Yeah.
So we've also done ghost episodes there. What he said was back in the day, before the high rises, when you could see that building from a greater distance, there used to be a beacon on top of that building. There used to be a light on top of that building. And what would happen is if a call came in, that beacon would activate. And if you were a beat cop in the area and you saw that, you were supposed to run to the nearest call box.
That's crazy.
Pick it up and find out what was going on.
That's wild.
I know. I can't
I
imagine.
can't even fathom trying to do police work in that fashion.
The tech is just incredible.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought I'd share that story because, I dig the history. And
It's a call box.
yeah, find out more about it if you go to the Phoenix Police Museum, which is in that building.
Yeah.
So moving on. Thanks for indulging.
No, I'm here for you, boss.
We're going to talk about recruiting, and we've done a fairly good job, a great job of recruiting, but that's all thanks to the Employment Services Unit. And two of our employees are special guests that we brought today with us. Welcome back to the show, Public Information Officer Stacey Hankey and Sergeant John Childress with the Recruiting Unit.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to get into a little bit more of the stats and things later on, but you had some questions early on that you wanted to ask of our special guest, right?
Yeah, before we get into what your guys' strategies are and how you guys employ those, I want to talk to both of you guys. You're in law enforcement. Obviously, Stacey, you have a lot of tangents within your family, and you've been here for almost 20 years.
As a communications operator, right? And then into recruiting?
Yeah, I started as a dispatcher.
Yeah, so wealth of experience at this table. How do you sell this job now to someone that is maybe teetering on, is this a job for me? Like, what do you guys say to them? What do you think your experience that tells them law enforcement, specifically the Phoenix Police Department, is where you want to be?
I'll start. Like I said, I started as a dispatcher. I grew up around law enforcement, and I remember as a young kid, my dad taking me down to dispatch and just touring, and back in the day they used to use drumsticks to change the channels on the radio panel, and I vividly remember that. And as I got older, was going through college, I just needed a job. I have two older brothers that were police officers at the time for Phoenix. My dad retired from Phoenix, and so I saw that dispatch was hiring and it paid very well at the time, and I was 19, 20 years old, and so I knew I wanted to be a part of law enforcement, but not out on the street chasing bad guys. So that's where I started my career. And I would say to someone that maybe doesn't want to be out on the street as a police officer, dispatch was the next best thing for me, in my opinion. You're on the radio with the officers, talking with them, you're right there with them, but you're not out there with them, but you're there to help them, guide them, and it was just a great job in law enforcement that didn't require you to be a sworn officer. So
yeah, and it seems to me that more recently now we're getting more and more connected with our communications bureaus. We know that when a critical incident happens, we invite the communications operator to join in that squad so they can rally around and kind of get that connection. So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about some numbers. We're going to ask about recruiting, where we're at, try to get some incentives, and talk about pay and those types of things. So we've got Public Information Officer Stacey Hankey and then Recruiting Sergeant John Childress here to talk more about that. So stick around. We'll be right back.
I'm a busy mom. I'm also a Phoenix police officer devoted to keeping our community safe.
I'm a Little League coach. And I'm a Phoenix police detective and a part of the team here too.
Find endless career options with one of America's best large employers.
All right, welcome back to the call box. Rob Shearer,
Yes.
PIO Sergeant. Stacy Hankey, Public Information Officer. John Childress, Sergeant with the recruiting unit. Did I get everybody?
Got everybody.
All right, let's talk numbers. Recruiting. Where are we at this year?
So this year we're really improving on our numbers. So over the last 2 years, we've more than doubled the amount of applicants that we're getting in on a monthly basis, which is really nice because that's allowing us to see our numbers ramp up. This year we're right around 156 that we've hired so far for sworn officers. And last year we only were able to get, I think it was 167. So we already basically caught up to what we did for all of last year, and hoping to really keep that rolling for the rest of the year.
Comparatively nationally, I'm sure you guys go through, because it's quite a change. I mean, back 10 years ago, it was like the recruiting unit, Employment Services Bureau at the time, now unit, training and training academy. Now it's almost like you guys work hand in hand to ensure that from recruiting to graduation, this whole process is seamless and we can generate the numbers we need to. What do you, nationally, where are you guys at in comparison? I know we said many times, and a lot of the exec staff has come in commending on what you guys do. Are we ahead of numbers nationally, like as far as applicants and recruits personnel-wise, or what's that look like nationally?
I couldn't give you exact numbers on that, but we're definitely ahead of the curve on what we're doing and bringing people in and consistently bringing big numbers in, which is nice. Talking with other agencies, they'll come in and be like, what are you guys doing? How are you keeping people in the line? So it's nice that we're getting recognition for keeping people applying and interested.
What's some of the feedback that you're getting from the training staff or the applicants that you're sending them?
So a lot of them are actually, when it comes to how they heard about we're hiring, it comes from social media. Like, it's way different from when we all got hired. Social media is a big part of our recruiting efforts. We have different partnerships with Grand Canyon University, ASU, and so it's just a different way of recruiting now than when we all applied.
Yeah, I think that's such a big, important cog, Stacy, that you do with that group is they unfortunately stole you from PAB,
From us.
yeah, back in the day. But it's such an important element, like we see in how much social media has taken over what we do in our gig. What kind of things, like let's talk the Instagram lives or some of the other posts, different ideas that you guys are generating. Like when you guys get into a room, are you guys just throwing stuff on the wall and saying, what sticks, here we go, oh, that's gonna work, that's not gonna work? Are you trying as much stuff as you can, or what? How do you guys get to that point that gives you the success that you guys are getting?
I know with the social media, we did start those Instagram lives about 6 to 7 months ago, and they've been very successful. We actually have another one coming up on September 2nd, and we're doing that with our homicide unit and our crime scene response team. And I feel like the lives just give applicants or potential applicants an inside look into what we do. We've rode with an FTO, OIT, and during those Instagram lives, we encourage the followers to submit their questions and ask whatever question you want to ask. Like, that's your time to do it. You don't normally get to get in a car with an FTO every day, so
It's
ask
field
away.
training officer. They're the ones that train
Yes,
the
sorry.
OITs, the officers in training.
Yes.
So you go from recruit to OIT. After you've got a few years under your belt, you become a training officer at FTO.
Yep.
So yeah. All right, let's talk pay.
Yeah.
What do you say when you're at the table, you're at the event, somebody comes up and says, what can I make?
Well, the cool part is we're still pretty much the highest paid in the valley, which is really nice to be able to say, because a lot of agencies are starting to bump up and trying to catch up to us. So we'll usually start with saying, hey, an entry-level officer, your starting pay is really about $75,000 a year, but what you're not counting into that is your shift differential, if you work nights and weekends, if you work overtime. I know overtime's a big issue here, but there's still a lot of opportunities for overtime, and especially in patrol. So for a lot of our young officers who love being on the streets, have never worked a job where they have 3 days off in a row, they're sitting at home going, well, might as well go to work an extra day. But just one of those days, the average, I think last year was around $10,000-ish, $15,000 the average officer was doing in overtime. So with that, your benefits, as a brand new officer your first year, you're making over $100,000. And for a lot of people, they can't really say that about many jobs. unless you've got multiple college degrees or something like that. You only need your GED. So it's a nice option to start. Say, hey, right out of high school, you can come out and be making some really, really good money with great benefits, and start your career. And another thing that we'll push at them is, hey, if you get bored in this job, it's your fault. There's so many opportunities here. So a lot of people will go, and maybe they're a journalist or something at a certain point. They might top out, in 3-5 years in that field, and then maybe move to another location. Here, you can stay with the city, still doing the same job, but also doing a completely different job, whether you go to detectives, if you move up and promote. So there's so many different options to kind of change what you do in this job.
So there is a language incentive too, correct? You're still able to earn extra money for translating. Yep. Either you grew up speaking it or you learned it in high school like I did, and you get certified. You can add more money to that. There's incentives for crisis intervention training. There's incentives now for training if you're going to be a field training officer at FTO like we were talking about before. There's so many other ways too that you can supplement your salary. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. And just it's little things, especially the language incentive is huge, because so many people here are bilingual, and a lot of people will sit there and be, I kind of know Spanish. Well, we have Spanish classes offered through the city for free, so we can teach you how to speak, and then we'll pay you for it once you learn the language. So it's a huge advantage.
That's the benefit of Arizona. Is you can't go outside without running into somebody who wants to speak Spanish with you and will help you learn. So that's amazing. So we're got about a minute left. Stacy, where do we go for more info on recruiting and hiring?
JoinPHXPD.com. And also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, and it's Join PHXPD.
And that's both sworn and professional staff?
Yes.
All right. Anything else? What do you want the average person out there to know that might be on the fence about, do I hit submit on this application?
Give it a shot. It is a long application. There's a lot that you have to fill in, but give it a shot because we can help walk you through all the steps all the way and make sure that you're getting everything turned in so you can start wearing the uniform with us.
Yeah, and I think there's been a shift, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it used to be in the old days, what do we do to get you to wash out? Because we know this is very, difficult. But I think the shift more nowadays is what can we do to keep you? What can we do to help you? And even if sworn, like you were saying, isn't the way, there's so many other options out there that you can be a part of the solution and help the community. And what we used to say, find the blue in you. Just be a part of the solution. So, hey guys, I want to thank you for coming on the show, Stacy, Hanke, and John Childress for being with us. Rob, thanks again.
Love being here, boss.
All right, I want to thank the crew for producing. Thank you, the viewer. You can catch the video versions of the show on YouTube. You can go to joinphxpd.com. We're hiring. You can also help solve crime in your community by sending tips to Silent Witness. Visit silentwitness.org and call 480-WITNESS. Be a part of the solution. Go to joinphxpd.com. And remember, be safe out there.